Greetings, denizens of the tri-state area. Jacob Weil here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Dragon, I know what we're going to do today. We're going to activate the Recap-inator and discuss my favorite cartoon, Phineas and Ferb. That's right. In honor of the 15th anniversary and in preparation for the upcoming revival, I'm guiding Blue Dragon 5 here through the series, experiencing his reactions, watching it for the first time, and reliving my summer memories throughout the years. And today's episode is It's About Time. And that's the name of the episode, folks. And also, about time we got to the first two-part episode of the series.
So this is the official 2-part mark. It wasn't just like a one just the episode that was just one segment. It was specifically a 2-part they melded together in the Disney Plus kind of presentation.
No, I mean, it was the first. I mean, like it's basically. I mean, Dragon. The episodes are always aired, unless when Disney wasn't being a weird about airing the schedules. They usually aired like the two 11-minute episodes apiece at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This didn't have like a breakdown noted. It seemed to be just one episode. So where's it cut off in the 2 parts?
Like I said, this episode was entirely designed to just be a single episode from the get-go. Like I said, there wasn't it wasn't aired separately. There wasn't any 2 different episodes or anything like that. It was like they aired it all as one episode.
Okay.
That's so Dragon. What were you? So how you coming down on this?
Yeah. So being the first full length episode, it was a good test run of that. It was very funny. I love the Doofenshmirtz stuff, especially. But what else is new? We had a neat Phineas and Ferb plot, and I gotta admit, I think the single episode format looks well on it here, where it's it was enough time to get both stories across and intersected nicely. I don't know, it was good.
Yep, we have Ellie B in the comments saying, "Divorce episode, let's go."
Yep.
It's less divorce and more relationship problems.
Yeah, it's more Maury Povich.
Yes. So your feelings overall are positive on this episode, then, Dragon.
Yeah.
So all right, so we'll get into that. I said, yeah, I will say, I think this episode was a good litmus test for showing that this series can actually work in a full length format. I mean, you've already seen an hour-length episode with Night of the Living Pharmacist and saw how it worked there, but obviously this is the first 22-minute one, which stayed true to the series formula, and rather than Night of the Living Pharmacist did. And I think, like I said, it proves it rather well, like having a great A plot with Phineas and Ferb and Candace, and then having this rather poignant plot between Doofenshmirtz and Perry, which is arguably the first major tearjerker of the series as well. I mean, sure, we've had Doofenshmirtz's backstories, but they were mainly played for humor.
Yeah.
I mean, even the fact that his parents didn't show up for his birth, that was more played for humor.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was actually kind of more straightforward, played up drama and everything in a way. All right. So how about time to go into some background for this? Basically, the episode was actually conceived at a story meeting every week, and the creator Dan Povenmire was actually assigned to write the story write the script for the episode. Dan also directed the episode. Storyboard artists for this episode were John Colton Berry. Other things he's known for are Lego City Adventures, and he was also basically one of the producers of the Be Cool Scooby-Doo series. He's also the son of songwriter Jeff Berry, known for many well-known songs, including the theme song to The Jeffersons. So, yeah, Jeff Berry's son is John Colton Berry. Another episode writer is Mike Roth. Other stuff he's known for is Camp Lazlo, Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, writer on Apple and Onion, Summer Camp Island, and also a producer on Regular Show. Kent Osborne, I'm pretty sure you might be familiar with that name, Dragon.
Refresh me.
It's like He wrote for SpongeBob and like from the first 3 seasons up to the movie, I believe.
Ah, right, yeah.
Like, he also wrote for Camp Lazlo, Flapjack, Adventure Time, the upcoming Disney Channel series Kif, and also many other series that are. And he's also the brother of Mark Osborne, who's known as the director of Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
One of the directors of Kung Fu Panda.
Very nice.
And the final writer is Aliki Theophilopoulos, like known for basically being the producer of Descendants Wicked World, Harvey Girls Forever, Doug Unplugged, and as a cleanup animator for various Disney animated films during the Renaissance, such as Hercules, Tarzan, Atlantis, Treasure Planet, and Home on the Range. And also as a voice actor for the dub of Superior Defender Gundam Force. So the episode first premiered on March 1st, 2008. So we are still sticking pretty close to their original premieres in a way. Major appearances include the first appearance of Carl.
Yes, I did notice that with Carl. Yes, because we've been building him up off screen. We finally saw him because we had no way of keeping him out of the episode this time.
Nope. and Peter the Panda. He appears a couple more times throughout the show. And one thing you might notice, like the staff actually left the town. This is actually one of the first times the Phineas and Ferb invention wasn't left destroyed. But they actually did that on purpose so they could reuse the time machine down the line. And how familiar are you with the writer Damon Lindelof?
Yeah, Damon Lindelof. He worked on. I believe his baby was Lost. He did the Leftovers. He worked on Tomorrowland. I think he has some. I think he might have some crossover with Star Wars. I'm not sure. I know there was they were planned Star Wars movies. I don't know if they're still planned or not. But
and didn't he also do The Watchmen?
Yeah. Oh yes, that was the best. Yeah, exactly. That's the best thing he did. Yeah, the Watchmen show on HBO. Yeah.
It's like, well, he was actually a big fan of this show and actually wrote an episode for it in season 4. Because he's a huge fan of this show. And
how does that relate to this?
Well, because this is actually his favorite episode.
Oh,
which I thought was a nice bit of trivia.
Nice, very.
Like so he got into it. Basically, I mean, I guess I can get to that on when the actual episode comes up, but it's like he noticed how his son was like bored watching preschool shows, but when he talked about this show, he like absolutely lit up about it.
Very nice.
And he even Damon Lindelof himself even moderated the 2012 Comic-Con panel for this show. So that's basically the most background I could dig up for this episode. So I think it's time to actually just dig into the episode itself.
Sure.
All right, so we join the family at the museum with the T-Rex footprint and other timely related fossils.
Importantly, all located very close and in Danville. So found prehistoric Danville. Yeah, these fossils.
Yep, including a dog named Bucky.
Yes. A dog named Bucky and kindly old man Simmons.
It's like, didn't we have a dog named Bucky who got sick and went to live on kindly old man Simmons' farm?
Then we pan over to this old man skeleton.
It's like, this actually this kindly old man Simmons. Hey, who's up for milkshakes?
It's so odd that this is the first time we really have something that does not need any restructuring for the gritty reboot of Phineas and Ferb. That one writes itself.
Basically, except we would actually see them dying.
Yeah, we'd have here's what we do. Okay, you have the scene play out exactly as this at the very end. Lawrence, right? That's the father's name.
Yes.
Lawrence has a quick flash of like a tearful, like, I'm sorry. Oh yes, let's just move on. Just to imply that he had a hand in what horrible thing happened to him.
Like, hey, who's up for milkshakes? Oh God. So that's the gritty reboot for the skeleton. I'm sure we'll probably come up with even more down the line. This episode really lends itself to the gritty reboot.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It's like so, but of course, Phineas and Ferb are more interested in the gadgets through the ages exhibit.
I love this exhibit.
I mean, that's the thing you'd go see in the museum.
Yes, I'd run to it. Yes.
Like, so, but the thing that really draws their eye is the time machine.
Yes. Jacob, hit me with
Invented,
the backstory of the time machine.
it was invented by it was invented by or attempted to be created by a man named Xavier Onassis. Basically, he wanted to travel through time, but obviously it didn't work because he would still be here today. Isn't that but okay, okay. Well, that's basically what they said on the tour, and nobody laughed at the joke then. Like, LEB says, "I can't wait to explore Lawrence's tragic past in detail in season 6 of the reboot when every other character is dead." Now that's kind of darker than what we've come up with so far.
Well, let me hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Every other character is dead. Like, we haven't killed everybody off LEB. I mean, Lawrence is like the most. So yeah. Anything else you want to say about the time machine?
Well, yeah, the time machine. It's I'm trying to remember which. I keep blanking on which specific version it is, but that time machine is inspired by one of the iconic time machines. I forget if it's the H.G. Wells time machine or not.
Is it the one with the Alan Young movie or one of the other adaptations?
Let me Yeah, it's the eight. Well, it's the one with the giant spinning plate behind it. I think that's the one that this is based on. It's an H.G. Wells time machine. So which
Okay.
is so one of the versions of one of the adaptations of the book. I don't know if it's the Alan Young one or not.
Well, I know because I know there was like one made a long time ago, and there was like one made in the 2000s, I think.
I might bear some looking up.
It's like yeah, by season 6 you'll be to it. That's fair. Everybody will be dead by that point. Get not be. Okay. But funnily enough, we actually do get to see Xavier Onassis in a later episode. So
Really?
this isn't the last we see of the time machine. As I said, they did leave it open for a reason. Did leave it intact for a reason.
I think it is the Alan Young one, Jacob.
Like the one where he's the star, not just a cameo.
Yeah, yeah, the one where he's like, it's him and Rod Taylor. That one.
All right. All right, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one. So whatever the original one was, that's that's the time machine this one's based on.
Well, that's an iconic one. It's like an iconic one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, man, Alan Young was like part of he was in Mr. Ed, that, and Ducktales.
Oh yeah.
We're getting deep into the Phineas and Ferb lore now.
Oh yeah.
Real high IQ. Well, to be fair, you have to have a high IQ to understand Phineas and Ferb.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah, that was a dead meme anyway.
All right. So, so the boys decide to fix the time machine, and I love how they have even the guard helping them and like thinking like, "Aren't you boys a little young to be working in a museum?" Yes, yes, we are. It's so good to see you kids, helping take an interest in history.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love these people. That's yeah, it's good. It's nice to see you taking that upon yourselves. Like, I mean, you get to see like all kinds of stuff that they ask these guys if they're too young for, and they're like, yeah, we are.
Yet again, it is very telling that Candace, her first impulse in like the boys telling her what they're doing, her just first instinct is like, my day's going to be fun by getting them in trouble. It's like they literally say, oh yeah, we're fixing this, and it's not really in disrepair, so they took like 2 parts off of it. And she's like, oh, I'm going to tell. It's like the versus like listen to what they're doing and maybe taking it, and she's just running off to bust them.
Well,
It's like, all she does, she's gone that crazy, man.
like well, to be fair, I mean, it's not really a good idea to mess with property in a museum.
I mean, yeah, but she's seen what they're capable of. So they say they're fixing a time machine. You think at this point she'd wise up to it.
Yeah, you'd think, but we wouldn't have a show.
And again, I think kind of in a kind of a karmic way, sorry. She embarrasses herself in front of Jeremy.
Jeremy,
Yep.
you're kind of freaking me out.
Yeah, that poor boy. All he wants to do is sling the slushy dog, and
and she's just there laughing all the time.
not a euphemism, kids.
No,
Yeah,
not a euphemism.
not a euphemism.
Hashtag not a euphemism.
There you go.
We should add that to our hashtags.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sure. First hashtag euphemism. Not a euphemism.
There's a lot of these sentences. There's a lot of phrases in this show that you could construe out of stuff that happens, and and it would totally sound like a euphemism otherwise.
If he wants to cover him in pigeon goo.
Well, that's really not a euphemism. I mean, he literally wanted him to do that.
True.
But instead, he's the one that ended up in pigeon goo.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So literally, that's not a euphemism. It's like, no, he literally wants to do that. It's ergo. Hashtag not a euphemism.
Well, there you go. you got me there. So we move to the Perry subplot where he enters through a photo booth this time.
Love that. That's kind of I don't know if it's a literal interpretation of this or not, but there was a gag at the. You never saw Superman 3, right?
I don't know if I saw. I know I didn't see 4, but I might have seen 3. It's the one with Richard Pryor, right?
Yeah, that's the one with Richard Pryor. Yeah.
But no, either way, I don't remember what you're talking about.
All right, so there's this great gag. I'm pretty sure I'm fairly certain it's in at the top of Superman 3 when they do the introduction. But it was either that or 4, and I think it was 3. And you have this gag in which Clark Kent goes to change in a photo booth. The photos come out, and he basically sees it, and it's Clark Kent, removing the glasses and removing the glasses and opening the shirt and everything. He basically tears off the last one, gives the kid the Superman pictures at the end, and they turned this into a comic recently, like a comic cover recently. It's really beautifully done too. But so it's popping up a few times, and here we go yet again.
There you go.
So yes, Perry, of course, he's photographed. He's put the hat on and everything, and he goes down kind of Get Smart style in terms of, like, Get Smart. You had like the phone booth, which kind of took you down, so it's a little kind of akin to that.
Like, did Get Smart have a different one every time, or was it just the phone booth?
Well, I'm saying in the opening titles, every time it was the phone booth, and they in the show at times they would acknowledge the phone booth. Which the hilarious inside joke of Get Smart with that phone booth is that it's not like the practical way you film that is like it's not an actual thing that sends you all the way down to like an unseen, because they never show like him going down like a tube or anything. It's just Don Adams walks into the phone booth, closes the door, he dials the phone, and he basically crouches down real smoothly. Because he's blocked off from like the bottom down. So he just crouches down to sell the illusion that he's zoop.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, but anyway, so they had a whole bunch of different, like, they had undercover agents who were in different items and in different, like, some were in the couches or in like grandfather clocks or behind, literally painted in the paintings, and they're dressed up in costumes that look like the paintings. So they would have all sorts of different, like, kind of stuff like that, and occasionally you have wacky entrances, but not that one was usually the same one.
I really had to watch the old episodes of Get Smart.
I tell you, man, it's a shame that it doesn't stream like easily. I mean, you can probably like buy it on Amazon or something, like all the episodes, but it's I love that show. It's very bingeable. It's delightful. I love it.
It's Mel Brooks, right? He did that
Yeah,
show?
well, it's Mel Brooks, but he left it as it's Mel Brooks and Buck Henry. Mel Brooks came up with the idea. Buck Henry was the showrunner on it, and essentially they both kind of dropped off after like probably the 3rd season. But it's still good. Yeah. It's a Mel Brooks concept.
Yeah, I thought he was involved with it anyway.
I mean, he was involved conceptually. He came up with the ideas and the gags. He basically wrote the Bible on it, and then they kind of ran. Buck Henry, who works with Mel Brooks all the time, did the show, and then eventually, he left, I think, after the 3rd season.
All right. Well, back on topic.
Yeah.
We get down. Perry arrives and sees that Monogram is just holding a pose.
Yeah, then Carl enters, and Carl informs him about what's going on. Hi, I'm Carl the intern.
I'm Carl, the intern. and thus Carl's first appearance.
Yes, there he is, Carl. The other Carl in animation, the third Carl in animation, you have Carl Weezer, you have Carl from Johnny Bravo, and now you have this Carl. It's a coalition of Carls, man.
And they all have and they all sound kind of nasally.
Yeah, and actually, I'm thinking about it now. Yeah, did this Carl have glasses or no glasses?
Yes, this Carl has glasses,
All have glasses. 3 Carls, 3 glasses.
and they
All these.
and they all have red hair.
There's a type, man. It's a conspiracy. It's like a cabal of Carls. It's the Carl Ball, man.
Oh God, what is with these people named Carl?
It's like the Illuminati of Carls, man.
Oh no, it's like no, it's the Council of
The
Carls.
Council of Carls, and there's only one Carl that breaks the mold, but he is not a living being. Do you know who this Carl is?
No, lay it on me.
Combat Carl.
Come back, Carl. Rest in peace. He was blown up.
Oh, with Carl Weathers one still around. He's good.
I guess that's fair. Yeah,
Who also
Carl.
is a Carl.
Fair point.
Yeah. Let's just forget the rest of the podcast. Let's talk about all the Carls.
I don't know. I honestly don't know any other Carls.
Would Carlton count? Is
I
there
guess-
like kind of an African American tangent of Carls, and that's how we get all the cool Carls? So we have the cool Carls, and then we have just the anyway, we're drifting off focus.
I mean, Carlton could count. I mean, then we'd have to count Lazarus from Psych.
Yeah, there you go, Carlton. Yeah, the other, yeah. I think he would break it. Then maybe we shouldn't count Carltons. Maybe we just gotta strictly stick with Carls.
Allie has an idea.
Carl ranking stream.
Yes.
Well, we gotta find out. We gotta uncover this mystery, man.
The Great Carl Ranking Podcast.
We gotta find out because I know there's Carlos, but from Frantic School Bus. But no, I was thinking that Arnold's the one with the red hair, so he does not. So that's an odd misprint apparently.
Carlos.
Carlos. Nice
think-
hearing from you, Carlos. So now there's the Carlos. Cool. See, it's all relative. It's like an Illuminati of all the different Carls and Carl prefixes. You got the main run that is Carl. Then you have the kind of the Carlos, which traditionally is kind of the Latino variety. Traditionally, not always, but
Carlton.
Then you have Carlton, which oddly for the most part seems to be. We have like kind of the fastidious Carl. That's the fastidious offshoot.
Yes.
Yep.
What about the gritty reboot Carl? Combat Carl.
Well, it's potentially, but yeah. And then you also have Carl from Big Fish, but there's a different Carl. No. I guess the gritty reboot Carl would be more. He'd probably have more kind of a modern audience appeal. Think about kind of like Jughead from Riverdale. There's your Carl. He's the cool. It's a cool Carl. It's a cooler Carl. Has contacts instead of glasses.
I haven't even read the Archie comics, let alone watched Riverdale.
Well, you know what I've said. I only watched the first 2 seasons of Riverdale.
Yes. You say that about all the CW stuff, though.
That is true. Well, almost all the CW stuff, but yes.
Except Supernatural.
Well, sure, but I was speaking more to like the infamous stuff that was just bad from the outset, like Batwoman. But yeah.
All right, but okay, we should really get back on topic here.
Oh, go on. Okay, we've introduced Carl. Yay for us. There he is. Look at him. So, Carl sends Perry to Dr. Doofenshmirtz of Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. But Jacob, there is treachery afoot. Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun, fossils. Dun, dun, dun.
Da, da, da. Da, 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 fossils. Anyway, no, so there is treachery afoot. Apparently there was a battle going on, but get this, kids, get this, LEB. I'm talking to you. Get this. Harry is not the one fighting Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
It's like, just like, Terry the Platypus. There's no one else here.
And of course, I have mice, and this is not mice. He opens, he sees there's a little paw marking on Doofenshmirtz's lion face. And then Perry goes over there, he opens the door, and Jacob, what does he find?
A panda.
Not just any panda.
Peter the Panda.
By the way, here's a fun fact about Peter the Panda. Now, Jay, remind what year did this come out?
2008.
Interesting. So, 3 years prior, there's a little movie that came out, The Pacifier. You remember it?
Yeah.
the song that the song that the Vin Diesel character that the Vin Diesel character sings in that movie is to the kid to put him to sleep and everything comes back later in the plot is the Peter Panda song.
Oh god.
So you can hear Vin Diesel sing this whole song about Peter the Panda, essentially.
Oh god.
And it does come back later majorly in the plot.
I completely forgot about Peter the Panda, and then as it went in.
So when I heard that name, Peter the Panda, where have I heard that before? And I thought about it, and like, boom, there it is.
Like I saw that movie a lot when I was a kid, but I don't remember Peter. I remember Gary the Duck, but I don't remember Peter the Panda.
For all we know, Gary the Duck is in this as well.
I mean, would you see a duck?
Yeah, we do. Well, we see a chicken. Do we see a duck?
I could have sworn there was a duck in there.
Anyway, yeah, so adultery of arch nemesis is going on here, folks. We have, yeah.
Like we're not enemies. We're just bad friends.
I love that line so much. It is this okay. This is the genius of the episode for me. This is my favorite part of the whole episode. I just love the idea of just evil adultery going on here. Just the idea that it's so harmless. The fact that we're equating like the arch nemesis, kind of two sides of the same coin relationship to again, we're doing the Batman Joker thing with it essentially. Only it's just played more broadly and for comedy more. Just the idea that it's.
You talking about from the Lego Batman movie? Or?
It's more like I was thinking just Imperial, like you have the darker version of it everywhere else, like Scott Snyder, and then you have the lighter version of that Snyder dynamic in the Lego Batman. So it's very much like the Lego Batman sort of thing. The whole like, we're just I still hate you, I do, but I think we should take a break and fight other people.
I like to fight around.
Exactly that whole. Yeah. So the fact that I love how he's just going on, it's the absurdity of playing it like an intimate relationship that's now that basically being cheated on. And just the fact that it just kind of happened. I was at an Evil Genius Expo, and he foiled me. And Peter the Panda, can you get us a soda?
like one thing led to another, and Peter the Panda is my new nemesis.
Then he explains the Freezinator. He says, "You know what? I already got into this with Peter Panda, and I don't really feel like going over it again." So he ushers him out. I love how just truly emotionally deterred Perry the Platypus is by this. He's really hurt by this.
well, yeah, his nemesis, was being thwarted behind his back.
Yeah, this is a huge. I mean, now here's the one issue I do have with this episode, though.
Yeah,
it is raised. It is put in the question later. How much of this is part of a big plot overall? Like, did he actually cheat on Perry the Platypus, or did he fake cheating with Perry the Platypus?
I think that's up to interpretation. I mean,
because it sounds like he faked it, and he was basically on the rewatch initially. I was unsure, and on the rewatch, it sounds like he basically used Peter the Panda as a pawn. He felt bad about it, but he never truly cheated on Perry the Platypus.
Honestly, I guess they could be up to interpretation. I mean, does kind of seem like the entire thing is one big gambit to get everybody in one place.
In the gritty reboot, you would have a non-gritty element of the reboot, which would be, but we want a break! Come on!
LAB actually has their own reboot idea. Dr. Doofenshmirtz is confronted about his infidelity. He panics and strikes Perry the Disintegrationator. Thus, he must cover up his crime.
And they play it like a real, knuckle down drag, and basically be like a psychodrama sort of thing where Dr. Doofenshmirtz, because Perry can't talk, he would just be explaining to him, "You don't understand! You foil me, but you never stick around. And every time we're in a death trap, you always abandon me, you leave me, and I'm always getting stuck in the lava or covered in the pigeon goo, and it gets to be a lot after a while." And then it basically gets to a thing where Perry's just giving him nothing back, and he just freaks out, he pulls a gun on him, and Perry's just not flinching, and then because he knows Doofenshmirtz isn't going to do it, and he's accidentally kills him right there on the spot, and then he freaks out. Oh God! What? I didn't mean it. I should have killed the Panda. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Why? Oh, why? Vanessa, don't come in here. No, you're stepping in his ashes. Oh, God.
Oh my god.
No, Vanessa, take off your shoes. Oh, God. Oh, no, the socks. This is awful. Oh, God. Where's my cleaning lady? Oh, I fired her. Oh, no.
This is just,
Oh.
as a wise man once said, this is sick and wrong. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Like LEB has her own thoughts. Like, I don't know, it looked pretty mid-fight to me.
It did. It did.
It's like I said, I think it might be up to interpretation, but like I said, it could be a big gambit, or who knows, maybe Doofenshmirtz just actually did hit it off with him, and even a later episode kind of hints at that, kind of like he kind of just
Well, I'm not saying they didn't fight. I'm saying that Doofenshmirtz is kind of hiding behind the technicality of like, well, we did fight, but it was all part of a plan, so it doesn't count. So that's what I'm thinking has gone on here.
I said technically Peter the Panda does appear a couple more times in the show, and that whole thing is brought up. So
It's gonna be like an awkward X situation of, oh hey, Peter, so how's it going?
kind of something like that, yeah.
So you want to get a soda? Maybe kick each other a little?
Let's just say there's an episode where everybody goes to Seattle, and obviously Peter's there.
Of course, it'd be really funny though if there was like this almost like a BoJack Horseman-esque episode with Doofenshmirtz in which he gets into a fight and then Peter's coming after him. Like, imagine what Doofenshmirtz actually had to contend with, like, mad scientist against animals. We don't approve, man, that there are laws of nature.
Sometimes the animals are the bosses here in the show.
Yeah.
It's like you'll see what I mean later.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like, so a lot of people have drawn back to the subtext that goes on between this episode, obviously with the whole infidelity plot and everything. I mean, that's straight up what it's referencing.
That's a whole nother gritty reboot we don't even want to think about there.
Oh, sure, but like stepping in Perry's ashes is fine.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely fine. I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's where you draw, but that is where you draw the line.
No, remember, it's fine because we've established in this gritty reboot he keeps cloning and creating new Perry platypuses, so it's fine. It's just a traumatic event when it happens.
But every single time Perry gets killed.
Well, yeah, but he's gonna be fine. Well, no, he's not. He's actually dead. But there's gonna be another one. I'm just gonna put a basically. Honestly, it'd be even funny if you just adopted. If you just imagine, there's another wrinkle to it. What if at a certain point you decide, you know what, cloning's expensive. I don't have the funds anymore. What I do, I'm going to train the platypuses. He's basically goes to the zoo and he buys out like all the platypuses. Anyway, all the platypeople. He can.
That's actually pretty close to a gag that appears later on in the season.
Yeah. God, and basically just trains him into being secret agents, so he can put in all these all the manpower, all the man hours.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned the funny thing is, Dragon, a zoo platypus fighting Doofenshmirtz isn't far off from a future episode.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like he trains it or anything, but it's more of a misunderstanding in that case.
Well, this is going to get us to a big milestone moment we should talk about, like one of the first time. Well, not the first. Okay, well, hold on a second. Let's talk about the Nemesis song.
We're talking about like the Nemesis song or the When We Didn't Get Along.
Well, I meant, well, let's just talk about both songs about Doofenshmirtz. As I was saying, the initial one were like the sad one.
Specifically called it's When We Didn't Get Along.
Okay, When We Didn't Get Along.
The writers for that one are John Colton Berry, Bobby Gaylor, Danny Jacob, Swampy Marsh, Martin Olson, and Dan.
I wonder if Danny Jacob's the same one I'm thinking, if it worked on the nanny or not.
I don't know, but the only other thing I know he did before this show was I think he did a lot of music and he did work on Emperor's New School.
Ah, there you go.
So he could have worked on the nanny, but
I've seen. Here's the thing. There's another Jacobs who works on the nanny. I might be mixing him up with that, but Danny Jacobs does sound familiar. I know that name.
I mean, there's a voice actor named Danny Jacobs, but that's a different guy.
Okay.
But Danny Jacob also performed the song, and there's actually an extended version that appears on the show's first album. What
did Popplemeyer not do his own singing?
Like, no, this song wasn't. Bottomliner does do his own singing when it's Doofenshmirtz. He totally does his own singing. But
yeah, that's what I thought as well. Like, so he does this. Does he do the second song, or is it both like this guy?
like, well, the person that sang the song primarily when we didn't get along, that was sung exclusively by Danny Jacob.
Okay.
And then since that song wasn't by Doofenshmirtz, because Dan obviously sang "My Goody Two Shoes Brother," the favorite.
Well,
of
yeah,
my
that's like,
mother.
I know that was all him. Yes.
It's like "My Nemesis" is the best song I am, but we didn't get along. It's definitely also pretty good and very underrated.
Yep.
Like it's actually, and I said arguably, I would say it's the first song that happens to be a tearjerker in this show.
Yeah, that's the thing. So this is literally, I mean, we see Carl crying. We see a crying Carl.
I mean, yep, crying Carl. I mean, ultimately, the song bits of the song actually are played for comedy, but it's still sad nonetheless. Like,
yeah, so we set up the we see see this little ballady montage, and just the idea we're subverting the whole loving and combative thing, where like it looks like they're running towards each other when really just running to punch each other. They're spinning around to actually throw each other against the wall, and like then we have the montage of stuff that's happened in the past, and we have Carl. Yeah,
go on. Sorry.
We have Carl crying. We build to the big the big tearjerker moment where Perry hangs up the hat.
Like there's an extended version on the album, that actually like dives into the whole romantic side of it even more. Like the lyrics including "I fell for you the moment that you pushed me, and you captured me and held me for so long." So they leaned into it even more on the extended version. LAB has another comment going like, "Also love that the special has 2 songs and both go to the Doof and Perry subplot."
Yep. That's where they belong.
That's where they belong, yes. So do we get back to the time machine, or do you want to talk about...
Well, let me talk about the hat thing. So again, this is seemingly another milestone. Now, we've so far in the series, we have seen Perry act as a regular platypus in front of Doofenshmirtz for his date. But this is the first time we're seeing Perry as Perry the Platypus without the hat. So this is kind of this is rather unique, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's not something that happens very often. There's like at least 1 or 2 other occasions where this kind of scenario happens.
What do you think? We breaking rank with this? You think? Like, do you think this is a mistake to have him go around without the hat on, but being full on Perry the Platypus, or?
Like, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a mistake or anything.
I mean, does it break the universe a little if like Doofenshmirtz, like, are we saying Doof? But then again, it's like he's given all the stuff Doofenshmirtz is done. It's just that stupid.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, as you notice, as I probably told you later on, it becomes a running gag where Doofenshmirtz can't recognize Perry without his hat.
That's what I'm saying, though. But this is exactly my point, Jacob. He's seeing him without his hat right now.
It's like it became a joke after this episode.
Okay.
And there's some justifications to it, I guess. And LAB, another comment. Like, I saw a good point about when we didn't get along being special, because it's a rare example of Perry's perspective on the relationship. Yeah. We mostly see Doof's thought on their relationship.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I fight this guy all the time, and just it's like we could be friends, but then we just punch each other. But I miss him.
It's like it is a rare thing to see Perry the platypus not being a pet and without his hat. So
yeah,
it is. I mean, like it happens a couple times. Like, I can name specifically 1 episode in season 4 where that happens, but that's not something that happens commonly.
I mean, the only time I can remember Perry being in a situation like this was I think it was across the
second dimension.
Across the second dimension?
Yes, are you talking about the one where the Platyborg attacked him?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking the one where the boys find out about Perry.
Yeah, that's from across the second dimension.
Gotcha, that's what I thought. Okay.
The scene in question is like that the entire time Doofenshmirtz had not caught on that their pet platypus named Perry was not Perry the Platypus.
God. Anyway.
It's like, are all platypuses named Perry? In a perfect world, yes. Basically, his alternate dimension self recognized him immediately, and Doofenshmirtz didn't catch on at all, and then is like attack the platypus. Did nothing. But then when he ordered the Platyborg to attack the 2 boys, Perry immediately socks the Platyborg, and the boys find out immediately. But Doof was like, I'm confused. Why does their platypus fight so good? And then Perry puts on his hat and like rolls his eyes at the same time. It's like, you gotta be kidding me at this point.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he's like, Perry the platypus. Really?
That.
All right, and that's the only other. That's probably the only other specific time that happens.
Yeah, so let's go back to the time machine.
All right, so
after a very helpful guard, we get the little piece back, and we actually have a functioning time machine.
And LEB does raise a good point. It'd be pretty rude of Duke to assume that they're the same platypus.
Yeah, I mean they don't all look alike. I mean even all the teal yellow beaked ones.
You'd be surprised, honestly.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know if I can take that hate mongering, Jacob. You're just gonna have to stow that somewhere. Okay,
I'm not hate monger. There's literally an episode. There's literally an episode where Perry disappears and the boys try to find him. They summon a platypus. He's a platypus caller, and all kinds of platypuses show up to their backyard. I swear I'm not making this up.
Sure.
And they're all teal. With orange and yellow beaks and everything.
Yeah, sure. Way to cover your tracks on that one, Jacob. Yeah, way to walk it back. Okay, we're just gonna move on.
That could be addressed in the Gritty reboot, of course.
Yeah, for sure. You have kind of like some platypus version of the the NAACP.
Oh god.
for Alka essentially, but for the platypus division.
There's actually something surprisingly close to that. There's an episode where Monogram takes sensitivity training, but. Again, we should get back to the time machine.
Yes, we should.
We haven't even got to the halfway mark in the episode yet.
Yeah.
But no rush.
Yeah, so long story short.
Some shenanigans, even including the helpful guard. The guard who yells kicks Candace out of the museum for yelling. And what are you doing out? There's another kid out there. He's like, what are you doing out here? Stole a pterodactyl skeleton. Well, it's not like I yelled.
This museum has odd priorities.
Yes, it does. And of course, the kids' plan to get Candace back in involved yelling.
Yeah.
But then Candace gets on the way to bus. That's when she runs into Jeremy.
Yep.
And of course, Phineas and Ferb fixing the time machine. The time machine causes her to keep going back in time, repeating herself, freaking Jeremy out. You're kind of freaking me out, Candace.
Anyway, so the point being, the boys, thanks to this guard, they fix the time machine, and Candace stumbles upon them. Very inopportune moment when they go on the test run, and they are all transported back to prehistoric Danville.
Yes, and of course Candace begs to be taken back.
I love the timing on her, instantly. Okay, this is bad. Take me home.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that is a reasonable reaction to be going back into the past.
It's very reminiscent of, and this has to be a little bit. I forget how long Papa. Do you remember how long Popplemeyer was on SpongeBob? I think for the first 3 seasons at least. Well, assuming the first 3 seasons, then he was definitely there for the Squidward's time traveling episode. So there's a little bit of that in there.
I mean, I don't know how involved he was in other episodes, but he did write a couple of them. So
yeah,
I think he was more involved in Hey Arnold.
I'm saying even as a storyboard artist, he could have boarded it though too, Jacob.
I know he wasn't involved in the time machine episode though.
Okay, well, never mind then. Anyway, so
I mean, he could be familiar with the episode, obviously, but I don't think
it's funny. Kind of reminiscent of future.
Yep, it's another episode where you go back to the past.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think my favorite. I don't know my favorite of his episodes. It's probably the Fry Cook Games episode.
I mean, I love the. I love Squidward's. I think it's called Just One Bite. The Squidward episode where he has his first Krabby Patty and basically turns into an addict.
Did he do that one?
No, I'm not saying I don't think he did that one. I was I thought we were talking about good SpongeBob episodes. You mean specifically Popplemeyer SpongeBob episodes?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know he obviously did the camping one. He did.
Another one he did was the graveyard shift.
That's gold. That might be his. Well, do you know if he did the film noir one, the nasty patty? Did you do the nasty patty?
I don't think I don't think he did.
Again, hashtag not a euphemism, kids. Just saying.
Nasty Patty. No, he didn't. He didn't do that one.
That's what they call it on the streets. But anyway, we're gonna move on there.
He did not do. He was not involved with that one.
Okay. Well, never mind. I think we're drifting off focus with the Povenmire kind of bona fide.
But of the horror themed ones, he was involved in Graveyard Shift, and that's a much better episode anyway.
It is great. Yes. Okay.
Hash slinging slasher.
The hash slinging slasher.
All right, but obviously go back in time to get Candace back, but then problem strikes when it's stepped on by a T-Rex.
I wonder if Spielberg watched this.
I have no idea.
Wouldn't it be nice if Spielberg's like, you know what, I need some good television. Oh, look. Wouldn't it be awesome if Steven Spielberg, I'm going to walk us back just one second. Wouldn't it be nice if Steven Spielberg just had like a DVR of something, like, back in the day it would have been TiVo, but like, what if he just had like a someone curated for him all shows and programs that were inspired by his work, like every Spielberg parody. Like, what if that was the only stuff? If Spielberg took like a challenge of some sort, like for a month he had to watch nothing but stuff inspired by his work, and the end result was like Spielberg's like, man, I feel conceited. Like I feel like I've just been exposed to so much of myself. I feel like an egomaniac.
His DVR would explode.
That's what I'm saying. This would be like after. This would be after. Fingers crossed. Perhaps he won like I think he's a favorite right now for. But let's just say he won the director Oscar for The Fabelmans, which is a self-indulgent film. It's like after he won, man, maybe I really was too self-indulgent with The Fabelmans. I watched all that. It's like, yeah, it's a bit much.
I mean, he's already won an award for best director anyway. So.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying specifically for The Fabelmans, he hasn't won. I don't think he's won one since. Since Schindler's List, I don't think he's won.
Did he win for Saving Private Ryan?
I mean, Jacob, I think we kept meaning to look that up. There's a chance, maybe, but I don't think he did.
Yeah, that's fair. But I know it didn't win Best Picture that year. But...
Anyway, could be wrong on that. Again, LEB, feel free to check for us. Anyway.
Yeah. And since she's talking about what we had earlier, groundbreaking social commentary from the reboot.
Yes, the whole NAACP thing with the platypuses or platypeople.
Yeah, platypeople. I swear that's something that's brought up later in the show.
Octoplata.
Sure.
No, it's like Octopussy, the James Bond movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, technically that kind of suits into it as well, but
true.
Octoplatypussy.
Yeah.
Doesn't roll off the tongue. Doesn't roll off the tongue as much, but
no. All right. So, point being, T-Rex smashes the time machine, so they are indeed trapped, and basically they do kind of cause and effect time travel to get themselves out of the situation, which is rather clever. It's the fact that we set up the whole, like the dinosaur stepped right here, and caused that little fossil, mud print fossil.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Also, we should mention Lawrence is taking the audio tour.
Yep, Lawrence taking the audio tour. I love that. I just love his enthusiasm about the whole thing.
I've taken an audio tour once.
How was it?
That was pretty good. I don't think I fully appreciated it, but it was good.
It's like, was it a fossils?
No, it was Graceland.
Oh, nice. You mean Elvis's?
Yeah, Elvis's house. There's like an audio tour there. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, I wonder if they still have I don't know if the audio tour thing is just kind of like what the age. Like now we're in the age of Audible. I don't know if we even have the audio tour there anymore. I'd imagine they'd keep it, but who knows?
Well, Audible's more of a book.
Well, I'm just saying in the advent of now that's kind of where we're at in audio related things. I wonder if they would just play the audio or if they would actually have little jacks you'd still plug into you kind of have with. Well, they had a portable version, but I wonder if I don't even remember if they did I think you plugged into the little jack and it told you stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, remember this show was made in was technically produced in 2008, 2007.
Which is probably roughly when I did that sort of thing though. So
it's like I don't know if museums still do that. If they did, that'd be pretty cool. A lot of them have more interactive. A lot of museums are now into more interactive exhibits.
Yeah.
But yeah. But of course, the Phineas and Ferb back in the past, they're obviously escaping the T-Rex, using turtles as helmets, which is pretty funny. And of course, Candace hiding with a bunch of familiar looking dinosaurs.
Yep, that gag was really funny. It's the fact they all the screaming little runner dinosaurs looked just like Candace. The idea Candace may have evolved from them.
Yes, Candace evolved from dinosaurs.
I mean, it's pretty one for one. I'm not trying to like ruffle any feathers there, but I'm just saying like column A, column B, kids, like something similar here.
Except she'd be more of the carnivore than they seem more herbivores.
I love when we do the classic Jurassic Park nod, the whole like don't make any sudden moves, or sounds, and then she's like, "Wow!" is moving, waving her arms around like a crazy person.
Yeah, I mean, but do you expect anything else from her?
No, not in the slightest. No.
Oh, LEB confirmed that he did get Best Directing for Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, okay, good for him. He got 2 of them. He's got 2. Very nice.
Yeah, I think those are the only ones he's gotten. But
yeah, those are the only ones. I believe me. It was I thought it was only Schindler's List, but if he got it for Private Ryan, then yeah, he's only gotten 2. This would be the 3rd. So 3, he'd have the turkey, man.
And they're both for the same subject matter in a way. Well, same time setting anyway.
Yeah, same.
Same era.
Yep.
But speaking
also personal movies though. That's what I'm saying. This one might Fableman's. It would be the trifecta because you had a movie that was made obviously of his Jewish heritage, then you had a movie made for the for in honor of his father who was there in WW2, and then you'd have literally his upbringing, his childhood.
So that'd be pretty. Yeah.
Anyway, forget the Spielberg guy, man. I mean, like he has enough attention already. Made a whole movie about himself and his childhood. Let's get away from that egomaniac for a second. It's not earned or anything. Let's transition. Let's talk about the thing that really matters. Let's look at the Fireside Girls.
Yeah. It's like, well, due to being trapped in the past, Phineas and Ferb right the fact that they're trapped in the past, and that prompts the Fireside Heroes to build a time machine.
So again, I love the whole cause and effect thing. We have a really great, it's a very UK feeling gag. It feels very British. I really liked it, which I know obviously, I don't think we have British. Did they have British writers on staff? Do you know?
I don't think they had. I don't know specifically if they had any British writers on staff, but as I did mention, Swampy spent several years in Britain.
There you go. That's what it is.
And Richard O'Brien is also British himself, but I don't think he had any involvement in the writing of the show.
Well, regards to the fact that Swampy spent a lot of time, but I think probably the sensibilities might have been indoctrinated there. Point being, you have this gag. It feels very, very UK. It feels very. Candace fell in the mud when she was running, and so her imprint was next to the footprint. So you saw this like Candace, like snow angel of sorts in the.
It looks just like Candace.
And then they calls Linda over, and in the meantime, now this did kind of bother me. That did they just have a random scooter there? Like there was no way that they brought that scooter with them when they
right? Well, if you're on the rewatch, you would notice that Phineas like rode one up to the time machine just as they're about to go back to the past.
Oh, okay, I missed that. Yeah, you're right. Okay, never mind. Though the scooter's fine. Point being, they have a scooter.
That does make the question why he had brought a scooter into the museum in the first place.
That's a better question. Yes.
I mean, so you're not technically wrong that the scooter does technically come out of nowhere. They come out of nowhere,
but it was established visual. Like it wasn't just like there's a random scooter in the prehistoric times that was not there before.
Now, like you do see that he does ride up on it like just before they go back in time.
Okay. So, which by the way, I think is a nod to Back to the Future, was the fact Marty and the skateboard and the hoverboard and everything. It's like, hey, they brought a scooter with them.
I don't know. LEB says perfectly plotted with no flaws. I'm not sure what she's talking about.
Well, she just means the fact that they thought the scooter thing is brought up.
Like you probably knows that the show, like especially later on, the show he becomes the master of the Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's not so evident early on, but this show becomes very 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 heavy on Chekhov's guns.
Yeah, Chekhov's platypus. Yeah.
Yes. Chekhov's-inator.
That's a better. There's an idea. That's good for. We should use that more.
Chekhov's-inator.
I like it. Okay, so we have
branding purposes.
Yes, brand. So far, we got the Chekhov's-inator. We have hashed, not a euphemism,
and also the gritty reboot.
Well, that too. So we're 3 for 3 so far. Anyway, Candace falls. Anyway, so he calls Linda over, and in the meantime, the scooter is driven over the mud impression. So the fossil now is unrecognizable. The big old like line going through like the girl shape, and this looks just like Candace. Oh dear, that's not very nice.
That's not very nice.
Which I love that joke so much. I thought, oh man, that is a classy joke. It's a UK joke right there. I like that.
Yeah, the show has a lot of humor like that.
Awesome.
They usually try not to rely, except for like on rare occasions, they don't really rely on too much like shock or toilet humor.
I just love the fact that we just saw an example of it last week.
I said rare exceptions.
I know what I'm saying. Rare exception last week.
Exactly. I mean, like it's not something that happens often, but to be fair, toilet humor like that isn't necessarily bad.
That's what I'm saying. Family Guy, to give credit where credit's due, being for the longest time, not anymore, but for the longest time, Family Guy, mastery over the pot of humor,
and just mastery non sequiturs too.
Well, that as well.
Presumably in the reboot, they all get crushed by the T-Rex immediately.
Yeah, here's what you do. Okay, there's this episode. God. Okay, there's an episode of The Travelers. It's really good. I love this. There's a show. Folks, if you like time travel, there's this amazing show on Netflix called Travelers. It's ended. Has a built-in ending. Could have gone for another season, but Netflix and cancellations and stuff. Point being, Travelers, really good.
Netflix canceled stuff? I've never heard of such a thing.
I know. Get out of here, right? So, Travelers, really good time travel show. It's basically when you time travel, you inhabit bodies that have been selected by a computer program, and people that were destined to die, so you're not altering the timeline.
Yeah.
It's really good. Point being, I love this show, and there's an episode in the second season which the team's on a mission, and they basically this is not like them big jumping the bodies, right? I'm just saying like the established team that we have get killed. Ooh. So we outright kill our characters, and what they do is the episode is built around other people in the surrounding area who, like the way they do the time travel, were destined to die. So the director is what they call the computer. The director is putting other agents in these bodies, and just time after time after time, they keep redoing. They keep trying to get to him and warn him, no, don't go this way, you're gonna die. And it's an amazing episode. I won't tell you all the ins and outs of how it works, but it's wonderful. Regardless, the point is, I imagine that happening here, where like the T-Rex comes down actually dead, but the machine is like kind of sparking and short-circuiting, so it's like again and again and again until something happens and they break the loop. So they've died like 90 times.
I'll have to watch that show.
You'll really see. I love The Travelers, man. It's phenomenal. Plus, there's this character named David. You'd melt for, man. He's wonderful.
What kind of like how many seasons were there?
Three seasons.
Yeah, that's enough. Like how many episodes per season?
It's I think it's 10. It could be 10. It could be between 10 to 12 this season.
Well, I guess as long as they're good, it really doesn't matter how many there are. Yeah. No, I'll definitely have to check that. I'll add that to my watch list then.
Anyway, I mean, I think it'll be in by the first episode. Frankly, if not, then the first two will definitely hook you. But regardless, I
just started watching Ted Lasso. So
I know it's going to be a while, clearly, but Anyway, yes. So, point being, we have like nice cause and effect stuff. The Fireside Girls, they initially seemingly come through. They've rebuilt it completely, following Phineas and Ferb's instructions. They have laid out the blueprints and everything, but there is a mistake on the blueprints, Jacob.
Phineas accidentally misspelled time machine and wrote tie machine.
It's a silly gag, but I love it. Just the fact that it prints out tie. That's a grade schooler joke, and I really love that.
It's like it really shouldn't make a difference if you think about it too much.
That's the thing. Like, you think at some point that, man, I wonder what all the function of all these ties are.
It's like they didn't even notice it was a time machine until they looked at the blueprint after they'd already made the damn thing.
Okay, real quick, gritty reboot version of the time machine.
Yeah,
it goes around to offices and especially on Father's Day. It doesn't even have to go to an office on Father's Day. Murders the people wearing the ties.
Or they do like a Kids Next Door thing and it creates sentient ties.
I love that episode. Don't tempt me. We're going to be talking all day about that episode if we start it.
Van Musk.
Oh, God. I love what Jim Cummins did in that episode.
Yeah, but we should talk about Kids Next Door more. But
yeah.
Besides, I actually just finished rewatching that on HBO.
I rewatching the Indiana Jones movies, and a friend of mine kept mentioning like all the times Kids Next Door was parodied, all the Indiana Jones movies. It's crazy.
and Star Wars.
Well, of course, but yeah, it was like a whole like the Snow Day episodes Empire, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And basically all the number 5 Candies episodes were indie movies.
I know, I love that. God, I love that.
with the German enemies and everything.
I know, basically Heine is Belloc essentially.
And we have a T. Bradley Baker connection there too.
Mm-hmm.
He voiced Heinrich.
Oh yeah.
And number 4, heck, he's German and Australian, and again.
Yeah. Well, what can't D. Bradley Baker do? Let's be honest.
That is a good point. As I said, he just made the noise for. Have you looked up the noise of what a platypus sounds like?
Yeah, I know he came up with the noise on the spot, and he guessed and he was right.
But have you actually listened to the noise though?
No, I haven't listened to the noise. No.
You'll go listen to it. You'll actually be kind of surprised how close he actually is.
Ellie B has a really great suggestion for the reboot idea for this. Isabella just sent basically, what if Isabella had like a malfunctioning time machine, so she'd be sending more and more Fireside Girls back? just yeah.
That's just man, this gritty reboot's getting darker and darker.
Every time they keep trying to save them, and it's just they don't get the lightning strike to get back home, and they get eaten, and then there's like this version of like they're swooped in by pterodactyls that are flying them off the volcanoes and stuff. It's just horrifying.
It is kind of sad we didn't actually see a pterodactyl, considering we saw the skeleton. But
yeah, true, yeah.
But like I said, it probably would have been thrown out for yelling.
That's true. So, anyway, so we see the Fireside Girls. Eventually, they do actually build a functioning time machine, but there is a problem.
It has to be plugged in.
That is a really hilarious idea. Is the fact you have a time machine that needs to be plugged in, so it has no way of going back in time. And then we use, we're pulling from all sorts of different time travel kind of concepts here. The biggest, most iconic one, Back to the Future with the lightning strike.
To be fair, to be fair, Candace has a good point. Like, you built a time machine that needs to be plugged in.
Yep, broken clock right twice a day.
I mean, to be fair, she has a good point.
She does, and we strike her with lightning. God tries to kill her with that point.
Like, and she's even had enough of the dinosaur of T-Rex at that point. She's like, put a sock in it.
I just love that it's kind of implied, like she says this, and Pavmeyer Swampy's like going, "Hey, I didn't like it. You said that. Hey, Dan, hit her with lightning, would you?" Okay.
It's like, how are we supposed to find electricity in dinosaur land?
So thankfully, we do the Back to the Future solution. Hit her with 1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts.
Yep, 1.21 gigawatts, and then she is. They're all transported back safely, but also so is the T-Rex.
Sadly enough, they never actually do. They've never actually used a mobile time machine.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
So Doc Brown has them beat on that one.
Now, Jay, we do have to talk about the single most important part of the episode, which we have not gotten to yet, and we got to probably round things out with the.
Well, first we need to get it to Doofenshmirtz Evil
Incorporated.
Once again.
Not necessarily. We're Well, yeah. Sorry, yeah, you're right. We're at Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated, and we are. They're fighting, and they go through a picture, and we have the backstory on the file photo for Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
I remember when this picture was taken. It was the happiest day of my life.
It's the day in which he met Perry the Platypus, in which he felt someone was following him.
It was the happiest day of my life.
It was the day I decided to get
my picture taken. I mean,
what do you think of that picture anyway? You think it's a nice picture?
It's a nice picture.
Yeah, I mean, he's always looks so happy-go-lucky. It's like in BoJack Horseman, it's always that picture of him sneezing. It's like the most terrible picture they could ever use. And it's like, look at him. At least he posed for it.
Doofenshmirtz. It's like, and if he's happy about it, why not? Doofenshmirtz deserves to be happy.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's like, and of course, but it wasn't until I got outside the photo store that my life changed forever. I had a feeling that there was someone hiding behind the mailbox. I had the nemesis.
So then we have that montage go on, and basically as
my nema. Sorry.
No, yeah, we have the Nemesis song, which is great, in which we have all the good times, and basically as the song's going on, Doofenshmirtz realizes as he's been spilling his guts here and telling Peter the Panda all about this. Peter the Panda's been dismantling the Freezinator, and he's just like, "What? During my song?"
Yeah, and Dan actually did do the last bit of Doofenshmirtz singing there, but Danny Jacob performed the rest of the song.
Okay, that makes sense now.
And Gaylord Marsh, Kent Osborne, and Dan again wrote the song. But Danny Jacob obviously performed the song for this one. But
yeah,
obviously Dan did the little bit at the end that Doofenshmirtz sang. But you, it's like you were disassembling the innator while I was singing about my feelings.
You are dead to me, Peter the Panda.
Dead to me. No, you gotta feel bad for Doofenshmirtz.
Jacob, I always feel bad for Doofenshmirtz. That concerns me.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, he does have a lot of tragic backstories.
Yeah, that's the thing. If by the same token, though, there are a lot of. Now, again, I'm not saying Doofenshmirtz is on the same level as this guy, but there's a lot of. I remember there's a scene in Preacher.
Oh God. Talk about a gritty reboot.
Yeah, exactly. Preacher, you have scene where we get into what Hitler's most traumatizing memory is. Do you want to know what Hitler's most traumatizing memory is?
What?
He was essentially he was very lightly slighted by I believe a Jewish waiter once. He basically was offered a pound cake and told no, you can't have the pound cake.
Oh God!
Such the fact that he couldn't have a little snack cake while he was on a date and he was kind of slightly emasculated. That's it's like the little thing. So
I guess it's more funny than him failing art school.
Yep.
Which funnily enough, Doofenshmirtz actually has art related backstories as well.
Was he good at art school though?
Not really. I mean, he painted one good painting, but it was ruined by Roger accidentally.
Oh.
And of course, Doofenshmirtz even tried his hand at poetry once and lost to a baking soda volcano. But
okay,
Doofenshmirtz Hitler comparison, an interesting place to go.
Yeah. So if Hitler remained let's just say back before he started forming all these very wrong minds, what if there was a time when Hitler kind of started off as you know what, could have been a painter, maybe not a good. What if he settled for the life of a struggling artist, of a struggling painter? What would have happened? What if there was something there? But no.
I was well, there's a lot of things that would probably be vastly different in this.
That's what I'm saying. There would have been a lot less death, and also a lot. Probably, I think he would have abandoned the mustache, frankly, if he became an artist.
It's probably not the best. This is probably not the best place to talk about this.
Yeah, we should move on.
But yeah, I mean, the German scientist thing is probably about the only comparison we have. But anyway, after the whole time machine, we finally get to the other most important bit of the episode. Dr. Feel Better.
I love this Dr. Feel Better thing. We basically combined all the therapy shows and all the couples shows in one. Where we have a Dr. Feel Better himself is modeled after Dr. Phil, it seems, in terms of look. You have, again, essentially, there's a little bit of Donahue in there. Obviously, there's some Jerry Springer, but primarily there's Maury Povich, which is when we do the camera behind the scenes and we see, what if I told you Peter the Panda was here? That's Maury Povich, I think.
Yeah, the show really does doesn't really paint the best picture of those kinds of shows.
No, it doesn't. No, I gotta admit though, I'd feel better, a lot better than those shows, frankly. If I'm being
well, duh, I'm not denying that. Yeah. I'd rather watch Dr. Feel Better because there's evil scientists and animals in it.
I love that, just that visual. It was a really great way to see the divide in the audience, that they're all the similar couples here. It's yeah, we all have our courting animal arch nemesis, and he's 2-timing them.
And he's reach into his pocket and see what he's got. If you caught on.
Oh yeah, the SpongeBob. Yeah, yes.
You too, boy. Oh God!
Out of context, horrifying, frankly, but
Yes, a lot of SpongeBob is horrifying out of context.
Yep.
But anyway, it's like Doofenshmirtz seems to be kind of a rare thing for for scientists to two-time their nemesis. Like, and I once read a funny comment, a very interesting comment about the song, about my nemesis. It's like this is the only show that makes me want to have a nemesis.
Yeah.
It just makes having a nemesis seem so pleasant.
Yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, I know, but the show just makes it seem so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's just like a one that's between like Doofenshmirtz and Perry, yeah, it'd be fine, I guess.
I've had nemesis. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I've had nemesis. Yeah.
Oh, are you being serious or are you just joking?
Yeah, I have a nemesis. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I won't pry any further.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, not what's cracked up to be.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a lot of romanticism. There's a lot of romanticizing it. It's a romantic notion, but
Like, well, here anyway, and it's obviously played for jokes.
I'm just saying, you look at like Batman and Joker. Obviously, that's your top tier like nemesis relationship, and then you have like Luthor and Lex and Superman, and then etc. And obviously, Doofenshmirtz Perry Platypus. Real life, not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Yep.
Obviously, fiction does have its place. He's like, he almost got all the agents killed. I do not trust Dr. Feelbetter.
Yeah, well, I love the whole explanation that is his lack of communication the root of your issues? But no, he's a platypus. No, he's a panda bear. They don't speak. They don't talk. So the one being Doofenshmirtz apologizes.
I think, of course not. What kind of evil scientist are you? Yes, but like I said, and as I mentioned earlier, this is actually one of the few times Doofenshmirtz Perry can recognize Perry without his hat.
Yeah.
And I love the chair stacking gag. Like Peter's throwing the chairs. Like, oh, thank you. I've been meaning to stack those chairs.
That's a really good Jerry Springer kind of nod there.
Yeah, because obviously you see a lot of people throwing chairs on that show. Not always for stacking, not for stacking reasons.
That's a really good joke.
It's like I'd be cool if my nemesis was a teal platypus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, to be fair, they do. Real life platypuses do have like venomous spurs on the front on their front paws. So
really, they do venomous.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I know they think spur. I forget if it's venomous or poisonous, but they do have some kind of spurs on the front of their.
Did they ever work that into the show?
Actually, yes.
Cool.
In at least one episode, in season 4.
Right.
So not so down the line. But it actually is brought up.
I just thought of a super dark joke, but I'm not gonna. I want to wait. I'm gonna save it.
For when?
Well, I'm gonna guess when we pay off that Venom thing. I don't even honestly. It's so dark. I don't even know if I'm gonna use it then. But
well, then if you can remember in about 2 years.
Yeah.
But Dr. Feelbetter, like, has Doofenshmirtz apologize to Perry. Like, tell Perry the Platypus how you feel. And if you notice on Disney Plus, they actually misspelled Doofenshmirtz. Like they spelled it as Doofenshmirtz.
And that's the way it goes.
That's actually not the way it goes. But
according to Disney.
Disney, it's like the funny thing is like I actually have like how they produce ornaments and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I actually have a Hallmark ornament that had Doofenshmirtz's name on it. But cool. you know how his name is Heinz? They called him Hans.
Oh, that's bad.
Like he's like is Hans Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, I even tweeted that to Dan and Swampy. But
anyway, okay, so they have their big heart-to-heart moment, and then of course after they've he asked him to be his nemesis again.
It's like I didn't mean to hurt you. I
meant to hurt you, cartoonishly violent and everything, but never hurt you.
If you give me another chance, I promise to hurt you in the right way. With cartoonish physical violence and elaborate scraps I construct that of strange things I purchased on the internet. And of course, that's enough for Perry, and Perry puts his hat back on.
Yep.
Which is like big aww.
Yeah.
Like he's willing to forgive Dr. Doofenshmirtz for his infidelity. Quote unquote. Yep.
So then we reveal the quote-unquote side of it there, where he then turns into a death threat. It's actually rather clever on Dr. Doofenshmirtz's part here, where he's basically The Friesinator that was dismantled was a fake one. This was all ploy to get all the agents, all the animal agents, in one place, so he could use the Friesinator on them and make them do the giant chessboard statues.
Oh, yeah, which does explain why what was wrong with Monogram earlier.
Oh yeah, and it's quite. It's a really fun idea. Just it's quite sadistic when you think of it. He's going to use them as living chess pieces.
Yep,
That's something again here, folks. I can't believe I'm saying this, but yet another Hitler comparison.
Okay.
It's in Hunters. There's
Man, like how many times are we gonna make the Hitler in this episode?
well, I think just this episode, frankly, it's the chessboard thing. It was like there's in the first episode of Hunters. I think they had this again. It's I forget if the chessboard specifically is based on it. I don't think it was, but there was this. There's a thing on Hunters where sometimes they use real life testimonies of things that happen. A lot of times, just kind of like stuff that's a little more cinematic. But essentially, there was this thing where you had poor, the poor people in concentration camps who were basically used as living chess pieces, but it was used in a sadistic game, which is not funny. But making them just kind of like just living animal chessboards. They're not like threatening to maim each other, but there's frozen on there. It's just again, it's kind of crazy. The living chessboard thing keeps coming back.
Weird.
I know, right? Yeah.
Like I didn't even know about that old chess set thing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. It's like this horrifying flashback. I think in the first episode, in the first season, they have these each episode pretty much has a flashback to something that happened in Auschwitz, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. Like there's surprisingly amount of talk about this World War II stuff in this episode.
Well, we brought up the same Private Ryan of it all in Schindler's List, and again that there's time travel. I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, like it is as Ellie B pointed out, it is a really well thought out plan for Doofenshmirtz. Probably one of his like better thought out ideas.
It is, yeah. I mean, he's rather clever, and he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meta. Sorry, wrong show. No, he wouldn't. He would have gotten away with it if he didn't apologize to Peter the Panda, which again makes me think that he feels bad for him manipulating him.
Like he was just using Peter for this.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it is entirely possible that he was legitimately doing it, but because like I said, we do see Peter the Panda again, but
we'll get to that when we get down the line.
Yeah, but once Peter kicks Doofenshmirtz, it knocks him into the Friesinator, which is spelled kind of weirdly on the art, but it's spelled with an A for some reason. But if you know, but of course the beam from the Friesinator bounces off the satellite and hits the T-Rex that was chasing Candace.
Which there's an animation complaint that I have. That T-Rex looks really fake when it's frozen.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, the head's all squished in, man. That didn't look right.
Yeah, it did look kind of different from how it appeared when it was not frozen.
Yeah. Anyways, of course, Candace looks like she's Michigan J Frog yet again.
Yeah, the owner of Michigan J Frog.
Well, sorry, that's why. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going with the shorthand on that. Basically, it looks like the owner of the Michigan J Frog.
Everybody like the Michigan Run.
Anyway, so the point being, they like, oh man, history really came alive. Oh, it sure did, boys. And they go home, and he's listening to the audio tour. Like da da da, fossil, da da da.
Candace, of course, Jeremy points out the C and J that Candace wrote back in the past,
which is cute.
Yeah.
Also, we should mention the turtle hats thing. The idea of like helmets in the past, apparently for the cavemen that Phineas and Ferb inspired. We're like, hey, we can't ride around on scooters without helmets, so we used turtles. But we did again the great reboot. Very, very obviously, they would have to do the horrifying thing to make turtle helmets, but they did not do that here, thankfully.
They kept the turtles alive, basically.
Exactly.
In the gritty reboot, they would not be able to keep the turtles alive.
Yeah.
R.I.P. turtles.
Yep, Cuff. This is Cuff. This is Link. I don't know what the girl one's name is, but yeah.
Oh my god.
No, there's no third. I'm just saying Candace had a helmet too, so technically there'd now be a third one. So I don't know what we would call it. There's Cuff and Link and maybe Typin. There's Cuff, Link, and Typin.
Oh god.
With lapel. Cuff, Link, lapel.
Or stick pin, I guess. I don't know.
Well, okay, now you're just getting silly.
like, oh, I'm the one. I'm getting silly here. That's where you draw the line.
That's absolutely stick pin.
Like a cuff.
Leave that on the front lawn. That's pigeon goo, man. We're gonna move on from there. So,
but of course they had the end credits gag with Lawrence listening to the Fossils tape over and over.
I gotta tell you, man, that's gonna sound really small. I love how charmed Linda loves this guy. It's like, man, what was he doing to him? It's like, she's all smiling at him. It's like, oh, ain't that cute?
Yeah, I know. It's like it's a very sweet moment. He's just like fossils. Yeah. It's just so sweet. She just like doesn't even say a word. She just looks at him and smiles like, yep, I picked the right man.
And she gave him $5 for that. It's like really cute. Like, oh, she bought him something nice.
Yep. It's like he's happy, she's happy. It's a loving family, you can tell.
Yes, but did he steal that from the museum, though? I mean, I know they paid for the audio tour, but he took that home with him, though.
I don't know, Dragon. Like he very well could have stolen it. He very well they could have just allowed him to take it. Maybe that you could buy the tape.
All right, do we want to end this, or do we want to point at LEB's last Nazi connection?
Like LEB's last comet connection.
Well, I mean, Red Skull is canon to Phineas and Ferb, which we'll talk about later. I have things to say on that. I've not seen that episode, but I've heard of it.
I know it. I know exactly the grievance you want to air about that episode.
Oh, do I? Yes.
Lawrence's crime streak returns.
Yep.
But technically,
he strikes again, and I know. Okay, I'm going to tell you how he got away with that.
Oh no.
He was walking. The family walked out, and he was like the last one out the door, and like the whoever was working there, maybe the security guard, that helpful security guard, just to make it even worse. He's like, I'm sorry, sir, you're gonna have to return that. But I love it. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to. It's museum property. You can't take that with you. Oh, I see. And then we just cut away and we see the guards like legs behind the desk, and he's walking out whistling doo 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 and listening to da 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 fossil da da da. We linger and we kind of push in on the legs behind the desk of like, oh God, what did he do? They're not even showing what he did to him. Oh God, it must have been horrible. Does that guy even have a top part of his body now? Hey, Lawrence, you monster!
I was like, he's fine. He's just knocked over the head.
I would hope so. He had a family, Lawrence.
And
he had a family and a dog with a mustache.
And now he's gonna be late for dinner.
Yep.
The gritty reboot doesn't have to be entirely dark and gritty.
That's fair, yeah.
Like you just knocked him out to take the tape home.
He's gonna reheat his dinner now, Lawrence. Reheat it. It's never the same.
You monster! Heck, some foods actually taste better reheated.
Okay. Never mind.
I'm just saying, Dragon. Some reheated food tastes good.
People know. Okay, let's just wrap it up. Just.
I know let me guess. The grievances for the Marvel episode. I know exactly what the grievance is for that.
Yeah, we'll just tease that now. We won't get into it yet.
Well, I think some people can probably figure it out if they know both you and the episode.
Yeah.
So, but let's just say somebody's missing that you're not very happy about.
Bafflingly so, yes.
I'll try and find a reason as to why that is when we get to that episode.
Well, good luck.
Yep. Well, I think that about does it for this week, guys. Like, thank you, LEB, for all your comments and contributing to the gritty. We'll count you. Well, if we ever get the gritty reboot, maybe we'll count you as a co-developer as the gritty reboot. Right, Dragon?
Yep.
I mean, she's contributed to almost all of our gritty reboot ideas.
She has.
So, and also fact checking as well. So, thank you for that as well, LEB, and to all the people who joined in and who will be watching this later on. So, join us next week on the Phineas and Ferb Recap-inator for a trip to the circus, a toy factory. Doofenshmirtz lowers his voice and opens tool booths. Again. LEB says, I live for exposure. Now, good night, everybody.
Hashtag not a euphemism.
Curse you, Peter the Panda!
That's the Peter Panda dance.